Hi, this is Survive and Scrappy Mania. Today I want to use a technique. I'm thinking with this doll, this is one of the new Prima mixed media stamps, and this is the Lorena, and it's one of Julie Nutting's new stamps, her second release of these stamps, or the second style of stamp. So this is the one I want to use, and what I want to do is I want to create her dress. I'm going to use fabric for her dress. I'm going to use tulle for her veil, and I want to create like a wedding dress. I also want to use some embossing folders, so that way I want the bodice of the dress to be embossed, and then this part of the dress is going to be the fabric, and then a veil in the back will be her like her wedding veil. Now I started experimenting, and I created one already. So what I did is I stamped it, then I wrinkled up the fabric in the back, put some pop dots, and that's gonna look very nice. And I stamped another one, and it's gonna look very nice on my doll like that. So I'm gonna show you how I did this. And then, let me show you, before I go any further, let me show you the veil. So this is the veil that I created, and I think the veil is going to look nice behind. Originally I intended for the veil to kind of come across here, but that's not going to work. I didn't like how it looked, but then when I put behind the doll, it really looked nice. So that's where the veil is going to be. Now this dark kind of reminds me of wedding, because if I put a flower right here, it looks like she's holding it. She's holding a bouquet of flowers. So you can really create like a little cluster of like a little arrangement of petite flowers, and it will look very, very nice, I think. So let me show you how I did it. So the first thing you need to do is you need to stamp the dress. So you need something large. So I have this Fisker acrylic block, and I'm going to use some Memento ink. And then you got to make sure that you get a nice impression. So you're going to make sure you put a lot of ink on your stamp. Make sure you get a lot there. And then I'm going to position it on my paper, and then I'm going to press down evenly on my block. And there, it looks perfect. Now I want to create another one because I need to emboss this part. I only stamp so that way I can use the dress or the stamp dress as an outline to lay my fabric on. But I'm going to go ahead and stamp another one here so I can create the bodice. So let me go ahead and just stamp the top. And then I'm going to push it down. Okay. So I'm going to cut this. I'm going to cut it back, the dolls out. So I have both of my pieces cut off. Now this is the piece that I'm going to use to gather my fabric. And it's going to be the dress part. And this is going to lay on top with the fabric gatherer in the back. So this is the piece I want to emboss. Here's my embossing folder. And I want to see... I want it raised, so I'm going to put the embossing so the bumpy side is up. I'm going to put this here, and then I'm going to lay this down on top. So see, I want to emboss the branches on my dress. So I'm going to bring my Cuddle Bug. You're going to use the A plate, a B plate, and another B plate. So you're just going to sandwich in between two B plates like you see there. And then you're going to run it through your embossing folder. Okay, so now that I've cut the bodice, I'm going to go ahead and cut my fabric. And I think, let's see. So I'm going to cut it across. And I'm going to go ahead and cut it a little bigger. And I'm going to cut it at an angle, just a slight angle. So I kind of moved the camera and my mouse and it stopped the video. But what I did is I gathered I cut a piece and then I gathered the fabric underneath, so you can see underneath. And then I used some of this fabric tack glue to glue it in place. Then I took the bodice that I have embossed and I put some foam adhesive. Now I put foam adhesive from kind of, so you have a lot of bulk right where you gather the fabric. So don't put any foam adhesive right where they gather. You're going to put the foam adhesive a little bit above that. So right above here, right there, I started putting the foam adhesive all the way to the end. Okay. And then I just put it together so it will dry. The other piece that you missed was I colored her hair with just regular pencil. So what I did is I took a yellow pencil, color pencil, and I colored her hair. And then I took this one and I made highlights. And then I went over again with the yellow pencil. Then I took some of my glitter glue, and this is bead in a bottle, and I just put it on her headband. Then the next thing what I did is I have these extra pieces from the dress that I cut out. I have her extra pieces for their hair. So then I took one of those, the head. I cut the head out, and then I used some fabric tack again, and I place my tool on her hair, and this will go behind it. I don't want to mess it up, but you're just going to sandwich that behind here, so you're not going to see any of that. And you can even cut it a little more if you want. I just needed something so I can adhere my tool, so that way I can go ahead, put it just like that, and sandwich it, and it'll look like a veil on her head. Okay? So I'm letting that dry. Now I need to I'm going to put a bouquet right around here. So what I did is I have this hydrangea punch, and I want to create small little flowers. And I'm going to use my embossing tool to create my small little flowers. Okay, and then I have these small other ones. I just did a lot of glimmer misting, and I let it dry. And I'm going to use these small little flowers, and I'm going to also emboss these. So now what you do is you get an embossing tool, and you emboss the back like you see there. Then you turn it over and then emboss the front. I'm going to do 2 layers. So I'm going to take another flower and I'm going to emboss the back. You see there. Turn it over and then put the front. I'm going to go ahead and mount these 2 together. So I started putting a layer of leaves, and I'm going to build my bouquet on top of that. And let me show you how to create the leaves. So what you do is just take a green piece of cardstock, you fold it in half, And then you just take a pair of scissors and you cut a semicircle, kind of like a oval or a teardrop, however you want to call it. And then when you open it, it looks like a nice little leaf. So I did that. Now I'm going to put some glue, the same fabric tacky glue. And then I'm going to put flowers on. So I'm going to put a flower in the center. And let me go ahead and put some glue. And actually I can probably put some of this glitter glue. And I think that's good enough. So there you have a little cluster of flowers. Now I really need to let all that dry before I attempt to assemble my doll. And I shall be back. Everything, I put even some earrings on her. Everything is kind of dry, not as much, but we'll be careful putting all the pieces together. And then this is the bouquet. See how pretty that looks? So I'm going to go ahead and apply glue, and I'm going to lay this down like you see there. So let me go ahead and take some of this fabric glue, put a generous amount. And this glue, the only thing, I like the fabric glue, but it's kind of gooey. Ugh, it's very gooey. Then I'm going to put, and then use my tweezers to make sure I don't press on my glitter piece there. Okay, so there's my veil. Now I'm ready to adhere this here. And I'm not sure if I want to use that glitter glue because it's just very sticky. So let me go ahead and find my Scotch glue. So I'm going to use Scotch glue. And I'm going to put it all on here. Now, I'm going to take my dress and I'm just going to place it on here. I'm going to use my tweezers to make sure it's laid flat. And then there you have it. I think it looks pretty nice. So there, I created a nice bridesmaid or bride for using a Prima doll. So using the new Julie Nutting Lorena Prima doll. So I hope you liked this tutorial and thank you for watching. Bye now.